Welcome everybody to another update video for my Blu-ray collection, and yeah, we've got a whole host of different kind of films today, several in total, and yeah, it's probably one of the bigger hauls that I've had recently, especially in terms of normal Blu-rays. I have several normal Blu-rays and then 4 that are a little bit more special, but we'll start with the normal ones first, some of which have come from CeX and others have come from HMV. And yeah, the first of which is Prospect, which is a really rather decent sci-fi film from 2018, I think it was. Yeah, it's a pretty damn stylish film. It's got an excellent score. It's easily one of my favourite sci-fi scores of recent times. So yeah, it's a really rather decent, and yeah, I highly recommend it. And you got Pedro Pascal in it, who I think was in the Star Wars films, or at least something, I can't remember. Game of Thrones, yeah, and Star Wars TV series The Mandalorian. Yeah, that's it. I get them films and the TV series mixed up, I don't know why, but yeah, really solid sci-fi film, and I got it from CeX for half price over what it would have been in HMV, so a good deal saving there. And one of the better 2010s horror films, The Woman in Black, starring Daniel Radcliffe, came out in 2012. It was Hammer Horror's highest ever grossing film after a long time of being away from the mainstream, and yeah, a really solid effort, and I got this for £1, and yeah, I think it also comes with a little booklet as well. I don't know what's in it, nothing particularly good, but yeah, still a really solid film, and for only £1 you can hardly complain. Again, from CeX. And then from HMV we have Ghost Stories, which again is a really rather cracking horror film from the 2010s. This came out in 2017. This is one of those films that I actually saw at the cinema, and it was a really rather good one. And yeah, really good cast as well. Andy Neiman, Paul Whitehouse, Alex Lothar and Martin Freeman. Bit more of a British cast, so if you're not from the UK or not familiar with UK actors, then you might not know them. But yeah, really solid film. But being a standard Blu-ray, that's all there really is to it. It's all about the film. There's nothing about the release itself that's particularly special. And then we've got one of the more underrated animated films of the last 15, 16 years. And that is Monster House, which came out in 2006, I believe. Or 2008. Whichever way, it's still a really good film. And yeah, it's easily one of the more scary animated films out there. It's along the lines of like Paranorman or Frankenweenie. Not quite as highly stylized as those films, but still a cracking film. Really good animated, style to it, and yeah, actually a little bit scary as well if you're a child. It's still a PG. Most films that are animated are usually a U. So yeah, really solid film. Really good voice cast on that as well. And moving on to something completely different, In the Heat of the Night, starring Sidney Poitier and Rod Steiger. And yeah, it's from 1967. And Rod Steiger actually got Best Actor, and also won Film Editing, Sound and Adapted Screenplay. And yeah, this was released right at the height of the Civil Rights movement, and yeah, this encapsulates that whole period itself, because Sidney Poitier is a successful FBI agent, I think he is. Oh no, homicide detective, becomes embroiled in a murder investigation when the bigoted town sheriff played by Steiger gets involved. Both he and Tibbs must put aside their differences and join forces in a race against time to discover the shocking truth. So yeah, really good film. Nothing particularly special about this release, but it is one that I think deserves some kind of 4K special edition release, quite frankly, because yeah, it's a seminal film from the time, and yeah, it's one of many hits that Sidney Poitier had in the late 60s. You know, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and other ones that I'm struggling to remember all of a sudden. But yeah, really good film. And then we've got another animated film, a lot more recent than Monster House, and that is Soul. It's easily one of my favourite releases from last year, and yeah, easily one of Pixar's recent best ones. For my money, this is slightly better than Inside Out, and yeah, certainly better than the likes of The Good Dinosaur or Monsters University or any of the Cars films. But yeah, really good film. Superb release in terms of general animated films. There weren't that many last year that I think I enjoyed, and yeah, didn't bother getting it in 4K even though it had that option, because I don't think animated films really benefit that much from being in a 4K release, and they look perfectly good in Blu-ray version, so that's why. And yeah, last of the standard Blu-rays is The Long Kiss Goodnight. Superb action film with Samuel L. Jackson and Geena Davis. Geena Davis is really rather underrated as an actress, quite frankly, but because of Cutthroat Island being a big bomb, that kind of nuked her career, unfortunately. But yeah, this is done by who was it? He did the Rennie Harlin, who did Cliffhanger, another great 90s action film. And it's also written by Shane Black, who obviously did Lethal Weapon and Iron Man 3. So yeah, it's a superb action film, really, really rather fun. The action scenes in it are excellent, pretty much all practical as well, which, given it's the late 90s, that's was becoming more and more of a rarity. So yeah, really, really enjoyable film. But again, being a standard Blu-ray release, there's nothing extra there with it. And yeah, moving on to the more special films that I got, one of which was Man on Fire. Now this is only on Blu-ray, it's not got a 4K release or anything, I don't think, but this steelbook is really rather nicely done. It's a superb film from Tony Scott, the brother of Ridley Scott, and yeah, you get the Blu-ray and a DVD of it, though obviously not really going to opt for the DVD, am I? But yeah, regardless, a really rather nice steelbook and an excellent film as well, even though the cinematography and editing does get a while to get used to, but since it's a long enough film, it gets you used to that cinematography and editing really rather quickly. And due to the first half being based around the characters and the setup and the setting up the stakes, it's yeah, easy to forgive that editing style, and then the editing and cinematography come into their own when the action and everything kicks in. So yeah, superb release, really good cast: Denzel Washington, Christopher Walken, Drew Barrymore, I mean Dakota Fanning even, I don't know why I get them two mixed up, then Gianni, Rada Mitchell, and Mickey Rourke as well. So yeah, fantastic film, and easily the one of the better Tony Scott efforts. And then we've got one of the last Argento films that I actually like, and that is Opera from Dario Argento. And yeah, this is a little bit more mean-spirited than his other efforts, even though obviously all of them are rated 18 and have a lot of violent scenes. But yeah, this is a little bit more on the mean-spirited side, which is why it's not one of my favourite films from him. But yeah, still a definite 4-star effort, and yeah, really nice release as well. Again, like the Man on Fire, you get Blu-ray and DVD. And yeah, I've never heard of the people that have done this. They're called Cult Films, and apparently this is one of many films that they've released, but there weren't all that actually many available in HMV. So yeah, I'm not familiar with them, and neither does HMV seem to be familiar with them. But yeah, you get a brand new interview with Dario Argento on this, revisiting his work from a fresh viewpoint. And it's, yeah, a brand new restoration on a new 2K scan. So, yeah, should look excellent when I give it another watch at some point. And then a new release from 101 Films, which isn't actually on their website for some reason. But, yeah, Open Range, starring Kevin Costner, Robert Duvall and Annette Bening, and actually directed by Kevin Costner. And, yeah, it's easily one of the better post-2000 westerns. I hear that Kevin Costner did a film called Wyatt Earp in the early 90s, which was a bit of a flop in terms of, you know, Western films, but this is definitely not a flop. It's a superb, epic film, coming in at just under 140 minutes, and yeah, got a great cast, and yeah, it really does show that the Western is not dead, quite frankly, and single release, so bit annoyed that 101 didn't give it a poster like they have done with many of their other releases, but regardless, still a fantastic film, and yeah, really nice to have this finally on Blu-ray, because it's only got released earlier this month, in fact. And finally, one of the weirder films, a horror film as well, is The Lair of the White Worm. Now, this is, yeah, really rather strange, as you probably would have gathered from the poster artwork there, but yeah, it's actually got early performances from Hugh Grant and Peter Capaldi, so that is alone is what drew me into actually watching this film. But then the film itself is actually really rather good, so yeah, really interesting film. As you can see, you got a few of the screenshots there on the back. That one in particular is pretty indicative of the kind of film that this is, but yeah, it's a really fantastic film. Again though, even though it's a collector's edition, it's, you know, still only got a single Blu-ray disc going for it. But yeah, it's still a really, really fantastic film, and easily one of the better British late 80s horror films out there, though there are not many that I've seen, but yeah, definitely one of the better ones. And it's adapted from a novel by Bram Stoker, who eventually would get his Dracula remade in the 90s. And yeah, and it's directed by Ken Russell, who I've not seen all that much from. I need to see more from Ken Russell, but regardless, this is a really, really good film. So yeah, that's not all that I have bought though recently, because I also, as you probably have noticed from the thumbnail, bought a little doggy. So yeah, HMV are celebrating their 100th anniversary in big style recently. So yeah, this is Nipper from their logo, as you can see next to the gramophone there. That's the original logo that they've used for 100 years now. And yeah, they've been releasing all sorts to celebrate their 100th anniversary. T-shirts, mugs, chocolate bars, which are actually really rather nice. And yeah, all sorts of other stuff as well. So yeah, this is just something I got because I'm a big fan of HMV. I'm really glad they're still going. So I thought, you know, give them a bit more support to something that's directly from them and not just, you know, another film. So yeah, I have bought more films out as well. But you'll see them in another video because there's a lot here that I've already just shown off and this has been long enough. But yeah, I've got more 4K films coming that I'm really looking forward to showing off. As well as, I think, another few Blu-rays as well. But nonetheless, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.